All right, hey Jeff. Here's the serve analysis I told you I was going to put together. I've kind of started here. You're both in what would be kind of the trophy position for the serve. On the left is just a pro player example. Going to walk through some fundamental things that I think that you could focus on, and then we'll take a look at your serve. Okay. So here I've kind of sped forward over to the trophy position as I scroll through for him, pros are going to reach kind of a mobility and stretch position that I don't think you'd be able to reach, given our chats here. So here, the racket's totally inverted over to the left. I'm going to draw some arrows on here. So the racket face he's going to hit with is facing over here to the left-hand side. And then he also has the very tip of the racket well under like waist height, almost down to like the bottom of his butt. Pros, they train for this flexibility. They work on it to make sure that they have the mobility to get there, because everything leading from here past this is all acceleration at this point. So the deeper of an acceleration that they have, deeper of a stretch for acceleration, the more they're going to have on the serve. Now, if we can't reach this, that's totally okay. I want you to focus on just a few things here. Is the racket face is now pointed to the left. As I keep going, at this point, I told you this is where most pros hold this as long as they physically can. So here he's actually inverted even a little bit more. Moving forward, it's the racket face is still pointed to the left. And then 2 frames later, he makes contact and the strings are now facing towards the box. That has to, or else the ball's not going to go there. And then if I keep going forward after contact, he has a release, and now the racket face is pointed out to the right. So this motion from here, kind of an external rotation of the shoulder and the forearm, or supination of the forearm, to pronating and internally rotating the shoulder to contact, and then allowing that all to keep rotating past contact, is why we have so much power in the pro serve. Is he's building up a ton of stretch here, releasing the stretch, making contact in the middle of that stretch, and then letting all the energy dissipate. Okay. All right, gonna scoot over to you over here on the right hand side. So for you, this is your trophy position. Um, Kind of secondary, I'll go ahead and mention it because I don't think this is gonna really bother you too much. Is that shooting from, so the camera angle for the pro here is shot from like directly behind him, and we can still see a bit of his chest and his left shoulder. That means he's just turned with his body further around this way so that he can unload it for back forward when he serves. It's another rotation, another coil, another way to stretch the body to unload. um you all three of your serves look very similar. I'm shooting a little bit from the right of you and not directly behind. And even then, I can't see your left shoulder. I see a little bit of your chest. But if we can just have you rotate further back this way, so that we can unwind again, that's going to give you just a little bit more of the body turning into the serve. This is so your body can do more of the momentum rather than kind of relying everything on the arm. Like you said yourself, you're a strong guy. You got plenty in the arm, is why you can hit a decent serve, but we don't need to. We can utilize more from the body. Okay. Um, all right, so we're going to scoot forward here, get the trophy position. Now, here's where things kind of differ in the motion. If we can't get the racket to dip all the way back down here and back up, that's okay. So if this is the range of motion that you have, and any more than that bothers the shoulder, I wouldn't worry about that. But I want you to pay attention to where are your strings facing, the strings that you're going to hit the ball with. So this side of the racket is currently facing to the right. We get here, and now they're facing up towards the ball. And you do turn the racket so that it faces the box. And then, so because you've thrown overhand all your life, is you have a great release here of the racket over to the right. And the pro did that as well. So when I move through from contact past contact, this is, I mean, it's very similar motion. His racket's facing this way, your racket's facing this way. We have the release, totally good. And what we're missing is how do we stretch more with the shoulder and the hand and the forearm as much as we can. And you physically showed me that you can do this without a ball in the air. Is how do I instead have the racket strings, instead of pointing up towards the ball here? I'm going to move some of these arrows. Instead of pointing up towards the ball already, how can I get the strings? And this might just be a turn of the wrist and the forearm to get the strings to face this way. And then as you scoot forward, we release that stretch so that the ball can face to the box. And then after that, then we keep the same release and let everything go, and the strings face to the right. So I would say that's your main focus is how do I put in more stretch internally rotating the shoulder or the forearm so the racket can turn this way. Lead with the edge of the racket, facing straight up and down with the strings pointed to the left so we can rotate the ball. I'm not sorry, not the ball, the racket to face forward and then keep the same release. That's how you're going to get more, is not by using more tension and muscle, is how do I stretch and release the ball more? That's how we hit big serves in tennis. Okay. Let me know if you have questions. I think that's all. Those two things. The stretch in the forearm and then a little bit more coil with the body, I think is going to do you a lot of good. The rest of it, the finish looks pretty good. You make good contact, body's facing the right way. Your momentum's going forward. I don't mind any of that. These would be the two things I would focus on. Okay. All right. Thanks, man. We'll talk soon.